Hey, welcome to the Kink'D AF podcast. We're your hosts, Mika,
Frankie,
Khira,
Alex,
and Krystle.
here to sort of detangle the kinks.
Wait, like combing? No, we're not combing out our hair. We're deconditioning.
Unlearning the ideas that were imposed on us by others.
Sharing our stories as Black and brown women navigating the kinks of life, from personal growth, healing, and friendship.
Even the things too kinky to talk about in the office.
We're Kink'D AF. All right, Mika, you can start us.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us again. This is Kink'D AF, and I'm your host, Mika, with my girls. And today we're talking about spirituality. But before we do that, let's check in. How are y'all doing? Because how is y'all spirit today? How y'all doing? Alex, how you doing?
Oh, what about y'all? You caught me in the middle of a burp. No, I'm good. I mean, I got sick. I got sick. I did get COVID this July. I was part of the statistic, but I'm feeling better, feeling good, getting back to myself.
We love that.
Glad you're better.
Thank you.
Khira, how you feeling?
I'm good. In the middle of Dream Girls rehearsals. If you want to come out, if you're in Dallas and you want to come out to Dream Girls, Bass Hall in Fort Worth, August 11th through the 14th. Yeah, this episode should be out before then. So yeah, that's fun. I got sent home this past week because I too caught the cold. Coco came a knocking at my dodo. And yeah, so this is great. We're actually recording remotely for the people at home. We're not all in the same room, so this is going to be interesting. I want to see how this is going to be.
This is exciting. Krystle, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm tired. I'm tired, and my muscles hurt. So, yeah.
You don't look tired at all.
I don't.
A little bit.
My body's tired.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. I miss y'all. Like, I was like, boo. Not in
I know,
person.
right? I want to be in person.
I know. I want to see you. Fuckboy Frankie, how you doing? Here she go.
As Alex says, patient zero. I feel fantastic.
Now you feel fantastic.
Yeah, I feel fantastic. I'm over all the icky stuff, and the rest of the team got it.
Right.
Y'all not me.
Corona
Yeah,
Club
I don't know
over here.
how. I'm gonna go ahead and possibly think it was my brother that gave it to us, but I don't know how, Krystle, you dodged it. I really don't, because you were with us.
Boom,
boom,
shots
boom.
fired. No, I'm just
I
kidding.
dodged it like I dodged these niggas.
Oh, Krystle.
We're not going to be dodging these niggas for too much longer, Krystle.
Yeah.
You're right.
You got
How I'ma find my husband if I'm
at some
dodging?
point, sis.
Yeah.
I made a correlation. Like, do you drink sink water?
The fuck? No.
What?
Do you drink sink? Okay. Well, people who
Only
drink
alkaline
sink-
enters my temple.
I did as have this like correlation. Like, if you drink sink water, like that empowers your immune system. Because everybody I know that drinks sink water never gets sick.
Wow. You know what?
Interesting.
When I was in New York, I didn't get sick as much. And New York tap water tastes good.
Yeah, I was like, New
You
York
had New York
does
tap
have-
water, right? Yeah.
Yeah, New York does have great tap water.
We have A1, grade A tap water. You heard? But here in Texas,
Wow.
it's disgusting.
No,
That's
my
what
tap
makes a
water.
great pizza and bagels.
What? My tap water.
That's
at
why they
home-
can't figure out New York style pizza and bagels here. Sorry. Krystle.
Yeah, my
the
tap water
garbage
at
water.
home is actually pretty decent, and I have been drinking that now that you mentioned it. In my gallons, I've been drinking a gallon of water every day. So that might be it. It might be the tap water. It might be the,
Yeah, I don't feel like I'm
But
wrong.
usually I'm drinking alkaline. So could it be the alkaline water or the tap water?
Nah, it's definitely the tap.
I'll tell you what, ever since I've been drinking alkaline water for like probably the last 4 or 5 months consistently, no yeast infections. Nothing.
Wow.
pH,
That makes sense because
It's
it
a
does
pH
have a high
thing.
pH,
That makes
or
sense.
it balances your pH. Mm-hmm.
not a
makes a lot of
single
sense.
thing. It's good.
Well, let's go ahead and move on to the topic because, I was looking at something on ypulse.com, which is a website that basically tracks millennial and Gen Z data. And you know how we have on several episodes of the episodes that we have recorded talked about spirituality. And so, like, millennials are some of us that were born in the late 1980s through the late 1990s or maybe early 2000s, right? And then the Gen Z group or the Gen Z generation is mid to late 1990s to early 2000s. And the difference that I noticed or that I saw online is, like, you know how we're always talking about spirituality? Well, Gen Z is more, it appears that Gen Z is more spiritual than the millennials are, according to the data, right? And so when I think about it, I think about all the, how we see astrology being really like a big, like it's really trendy right now, like especially on social media. Astrology is super trendy, but so is spirituality, but not religion. And so I know that we've talked about it, and some of us are millennials here. Who identifies as a millennial? I don't remember who. I know for sure I'm a millennial. We're all
Right,
millennials.
I'm a millennial.
You're a
I'm
millennial
89.
too, Alex?
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're a millennial.
Okay.
Yeah, so our episode, the topic today, do you want to introduce the name of the episode? Because I love the way you say it, Frankie.
Budgodlah.
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 That doesn't look like
Everybody
a spelling
that
on the
just
thing.
made
What?
everybody
The
that
spelling.
just made a face. Everybody that just made a face when they heard that. I want you to know we all made that face when they introduced this topic to us. We were all like, boo-hoo.
What we talking
Yeah,
about? What
what?
that mean? Is that a smell?
Exactly. It's not a new religion. I'm going to show you that. We are not creating
No.
a cult. All right.
We should.
And don't
We
go out
can't
there
control-
and use this and try to create a cult and then have a documentary and talk about we were the ones who inspired it. Fuck that. No, don't do
Let
that.
me
shit.
tell you something. We can't change human history if we influence a whole generation to believe in us and worship the
Fucking
five
tyrant.
goddesses
Listen.
of
But
Budgodlah.
Frankie,
The five goddesses of Budgodlah. That sounds like a thing. Wait, suddenly I don't know. Do we want to create a? No, stop it. Stop
Nah,
it.
stop.
No, but for real, it was like a makeup of like Buddhism, God, and Allah. Right? It's just an example. We could have used any religion, right? But I personally have a lot of respect for those religions. I still identify as a person who believes in Jesus Christ. I don't always say a Christian, but I have my reasons for that. But I really respect other religions, and I feel like there isn't just one way to get to God, even though that's not what we were particularly taught. So I thought that was something that I wanted to dive into today with you all. And so I wanted to know, like, what do y'all think? Because I don't know. That's just my thing. Like I said, I know what we were taught.
So I think I'm somewhere around the same with you, Mika. I believe in Jesus Christ, Lord and Savior. But again, do I say I'm a Christian? The connotation of what a Christian is right now are just period. I say I don't find religion in a church. I find religion with my relationship with God. And in that, I have also been like, okay, yes, Jesus, all of that. But then when I look at other religions, I'm like, fundamentally, most religions believe in the same thing. It's just
Yeah.
Jesus is where the branches start to fork off
they all mention
into
Jesus.
different directions. Huh?
But they all mention
do.
Jesus.
They all mention Jesus, most definitely. And so I was just always like, okay. So it's funny because we were talking about the Matrix the other day.
Oh God. Or a glitch.
CERN.
the glitch in the Matrix, and the third Matrix. I think when Neo finally meets the architect. Do you remember? And it's all of the screens in the background, and he's talking to him, and it's like every reaction that Neo could possibly have when he says something. I've always seen that as God, like how you have free will and how God gives you free will, but also is all knowing. I've always considered that to be what it is. Like he's all knowing and you do have free will, but he knows every single option that you could possibly choose.
Yes.
And
And he knows the ones that you're gonna make.
he knows the ones that you're gonna make.
Yeah. Real quick. Go ahead.
And so he knows the ones that you're going to make. He knows the ones that you're going to make and kind of molds you that way. So I've always felt like that's how he's made religion. It's this multiple choice with multiple screens on how you get to him. And he's like,
Right.
whatever choice you make, hey, welcome.
Yeah, guess what? Either way you go, I'm still here.
I'm still here.
Yes, and I feel like it was very graceful for him, even though it was said very maliciously intense for the plot of the movie. But I felt like it was very graceful. Like, you could choose any of these decisions. It doesn't matter what's going to happen. You still going to die. And then I love Will Ferrell's parody of it, because he keeps saying ergo. And he's dressed up all in white. And he's just like, ergo. And it's like over and over. Yeah. And it was just, anyways, fucking stupid. I'm a nerd. All right.
I've never seen The Matrix.
None of them.
I didn't get that.
I've only seen one.
I feel like Alex hasn't seen it either because she's like,
You're right. I have not
she's
seen.
like,
I
she's got that
I
Alex.
used to
doesn't know,
watch
but
like
she-
bits and pieces of it through TBS when it used to be like when I had cable growing up, and before like Netflix, I used to see it like clips of it at clips, but in between commercials while I was going in between BET and MTV, and then I couldn't get it. Yeah, I told the girls, I'm like, it looks like live algebra. Like I don't. Like if algebra were to talk out loud, that was it. That was the movie. Like I just couldn't get it.
It was very confusing when I realized that everything was ones and zeros. And I'm like, wait, ones and zeros? How? How is everything ones and zeros?
Y'all mentioning numbers, I'm out.
So,
Yeah.
Like the computer thing, like the technology thing. Help us, Frankie, help us.
well, okay, since, in tech, it's there's so many ways to look at it. There's the subculture, there's the fashion influence in tech of the Matrix. I will say, and there's also, relating the physics to religion and spirituality. I had this book called Astrophysics for Believers. Anyways, the actual title, and why I'm bringing this up, don't make sure I don't go down a rabbit hole, but it is holy shit. That's Netflix. The physics
came on?
devotional. A page a day, read this, and it's about a physics law, and they relate it to something going on in your life, and it's
Oh my God, that's
extremely
dope.
accurate. Extremely accurate.
I want that.
I will get you a copy.
Text,
this shit is
text
real.
me the
I was about to say, can
Is
I
it on
too
Audible?
get a copy?
right, but if it's on
Right.
Audible, I'm just gonna listen to it on Audible every day.
No, it's it's by Clifford Pickover, and it's just a daily, every day, a physics law, and you read it every morning, just one page. Not March 31st, 1999, The Matrix came out. November 17th or December 17th, my grandmother passed away. My cousins and I decided to dress up like the Matrix for the funeral. I bought a black trench duster, patent the rubber kind of look, straight down,
I can't.
black turtleneck, black pants, black boots. And I showed up at my grandmother's funeral dressed up like the Matrix. It was on and popping. And we had the shades.
On it.
The very slender.
Wow.
I was
How old were
13.
you?
13.
Wow.
I was ready.
Then
My
what?
cousin took it a little bit further. He ended up wearing the leather duster for the next 3 years, every day, even during the summer. And
was about to
dyed his
say,
hair
it's-
blonde.
It's giving a school shooter. Like,
You took the words out of my mouth. It's giving school shooter. I would like to know, like, why did y'all decide to
Was
dress
this
up?
on your? Was this on your Dominican side? Your
No, the
Rican
Puerto
side?
Rican side. You know they're New Yorkers, so they're Americanized.
He was Morpheus. I was gonna
Oh,
say,
yeah.
was it Morpheus or Morpheo? Which one was it?
Morpheus / Goku, because he was Super Saiyan. He had his blonde hair and it was sculpted with extra gel, and
Do we have
it was
pictures?
extra perm too. We are both dark skinned, but he had more finer of the Puerto Rican hair. But anyways, we decided this, and I realized I ended up wearing it too long, that jacket. Some people said I was starting to smell funky in church. But nonetheless, it impacted my life. Not in a way that most people I would outwardly say, but Mika's dying. Thank God for mute buttons. But anyways,
Yes.
that was a seed. Now fast forward, Mika, you fucked me up with the Matrix documentary the other day. So
Listen, you know what? Is this Budgodlah or is this a bitch in the Matrix? Because since that documentary, since that day, well, since the first time I watched that documentary, I was fucked up. It's been a bitch. I think everything is a simulation. I'm like, are we even real? Am I real? I'm a real one. Like, I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, no, I'm one of the real ones.
I just want to let you know.
I am a
in the
real
morning.
life.
I'm a real
Just
bitch.
from the Bronx.
Y'all think I'm talking about being gully? No, I'm talking about I have a real life. I am not one of these.
Of course.
I'm not in the Matrix.
it's called NPC, non-player character.
Thank
And
you, because I don't know the terms, but you know
Yeah.
exactly what I'm saying.
In video games, you run into like quests and stuff like that. You talk to a stranger that gives you only several lines, and they just know how to say that, and you only have a certain amount of responses to those lines. So it feels like that in real life, where you run to someone that hangs in the corner all the time, but you don't know what they do. You don't know what else is going on, and the perception is they're probably a non-player character, and they're there just to answer a certain amount of questions for you to steer you in the right way should you take that path. But
Bro, it's too much.
that is
You're going
I'm
down a rabbit
not
hole.
living my life like that, but yeah.
No, it's really nuts because like I know this is gonna sound wild, but every person that was talking on that documentary, if y'all haven't seen it, please check it out. It's on Hulu. Hulu, we're accepting sponsors. That documentary, basically, the people who are presenting the information, they're not even revealing their identities. That's how real they think this is. Like that's how real the Matrix to them really
CERN.
is. That they won't even reveal who they are.
Either way, the Matrix can be related to whatever human history's highest technology during that time. And during when aqueducts were built, people thought water was of celestial being because that was the highest technology of that time. So they thought everything had to deal with water. And we still carry to that day. You know, we bathe ourselves to cleanse our souls and all this stuff in baptism. But everyone looks to the highest technology and relates it to spirituality somehow during that human history. So I could be wrong in like 100 years. Oh, it's the same thing with the documentary.
Yeah.
Says that.
You could be wrong
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah, facts. We could be wrong yesterday. We could be in yesterday.
Let's not go that deep.
Yeah.
We don't have to change this episode to the Matrix. But we supposed to be talking about Budgodlah and them.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
I feel like that's
exactly
the
the same
same though.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
feel
yeah.
like sci-fi is the intersection, like between spirituality and science, or
Yeah.
technology rather, and it's like
Like
ha.
A Wrinkle in Time.
A Wrinkle in
Oh,
Time.
that
bitch.
movie.
Yeah, like at first I didn't get it, but now that I'm woke, I understand it.
Now that I'm woke.
I'm woke. I'm woke. So I guess, should I go into what I believe in, I guess?
Sure.
Like for me, I subscribe to Jesus Jerome Christ as well. And I
Come on,
say
Jesus
Jerome
Jerome.
because he's black.
Amen.
Because he's black. My Jesus is black. I don't know who that Caucasian Anglo-Saxon that y'all look at. That's not who I believe in.
His hair.
My,
was,
he got a dread. He got dreads. He got dreads. He got he had drip and all that. So again, went to church with grandma every Sunday, you know. But as I got older, 1 + 1 was not equaling 2. And I'm in the current transition of like reading the Bible for myself. I'm also going back to what did my ancestors do? You know, because they did believe in Jesus, because, you know, people like to, oh, the white God and we were forced by, no, because I'm sorry, if somebody was taking me right now and they was like, such and such Budgodlah want to take you, I'm like, I don't know who the fuck that is. I don't care. So obviously, you're like, Budgodlah
like
said,
El Cupo.
Budgodlah gonna put you to hell. And I'm like, I don't know that. I don't know him. You know? So obviously our ancestors did believe in Jesus, but we also had another spiritual practice, and you can't tell me. I feel like we were the closest to God. You know, stuff like that. And so I also believe the Bible was changed to fit that narrative of like some of the stuff we practice was bad. You know, connecting with Jesus, connecting with our ancestors and stuff like that. I think we were made to believe it was bad. And it's not, you know. Someone's like, oh, you know, you have crystals. That's a false idol. I said, who the hell is praying to crystals?
I
Like
will
that.
say this. I actually subscribe to what you just said.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I think actually Krystle and I ended up going to Bible study a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Did you invite me?
I don't know.
I don't know, but we ended up in the same
I think it was
church.
Jay or something. Yep.
No,
I think it was Jay.
I found that bitch in the pew, and I was like, oh shit, Jay. It was an all women's Bible study. in
Wait,
North
Jay as in
Dallas.
joint or as in a person?
The way that you say it.
Jay
A
is the
person. Jay is a person
Jay is
that
the
me,
person.
Khira, and Frankie know.
I
Yeah.
feel like this is becoming Sesame Street.
He's a supplier.
And Alex
He's
is
a
like,
supplier.
Jay is for joint.
It's for Jeanette. Jay this week.
Because then she said, I found that J in the pew. I'm like, a person can't fit in the pew, can they?
She
No,
found
it sounded
Jay.
very
She found
spiritual.
Jay
You
in the
sound-
pew,
That sounds
which is a person.
It's a friend of ours, and it so happened we were probably a couple of times we went routinely, but I was opening myself up to astrology, astrophysics, and stuff like that just at that time. Fast forward to today, like I make sure I practice it, and it aligns with Jesus's teachings, also aligns with brujeria and Yoruba and all these. When I after traveling. And then seeing a country that is Islam ran, and seeing a country that is Orthodox Christian ran, seeing another country that is Buddhist, I was like, they're all saying the same thing.
I say that all the time. Like I feel like
I think
one, let's start with religion is man-made, okay? And one, and two, Jesus was not a Christian. He was Jewish, right? And I don't know if he's religious Jew or more like, you know, ethnically. Well, ethnically, yes, but you know, there's that thing. So,
well, both.
well, both, right? So that's how you know. Sometimes you got people who are ethnically Jews, but they don't practice. Yeah. So he was both because Passover and all that. But they
Passover,
all.
but did he do? Oh, sorry.
I don't know, but I was talking to my friend. I was like, do you realize all these like holy holidays? They're all around the same time. Like Ramadan is like, it's near Easter, right? Something like that. And so I asked, like, what's Ramadan? To because I had a coworker, and then I was like, that sounds like, you know, the Jewish tradition of Hanukkah almost, you know. And so I was like, you know, they all, I don't know, I feel like it all leads to God. I feel like God is within me. Heaven is within me also, and then
You know-
hell is this earth.
Yeah.
Shit, it's
What
ghetto.
what you said about God being in you, you know, God being in us. Even when we think about how when you do the greeting namaste, that means like the God in me,
sees the God.
recognizes or greets the God,
God
in
in
you.
you.
Uh-huh. And that's deep. I don't want to lump up everything. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
me.
Hey.
God in me. It's the same
Greeting the
shit.
God in you.
Right. It's the same shit. I feel it so
Yes, and but I feel like people where the difference is like the motive. You know, I feel like sometimes people want to control you with religion. So, you know, because there is a difference between religion and spirituality. I feel like my connection to God is spiritual. I don't feel like it's religion. I feel religion is practice. I feel like religion is tradition. And
has
that's
rules.
where I have had a hard time being able to, like I say, lump myself up with Christians, for example. Like I have many Christian friends and relatives that, you know, go to church every Sunday, and I, you know, I love that cultural aspect of Black church, particularly for me. For me, it's a cultural thing, and I feel like I love that, but I don't subscribe to the ritual of going every Sunday.
How you said that So there's this book called My Grandmother's Hands. I can't remember the name of the author right now because the name
think
is
I have
very
that
long. Name is very long. But he talks about how trauma is something that is inherited. Like it is something that gets passed down like from generation to generation. And he talks about how like within that, yep, you do. Yep, there you go, my grandmother's hands. And he talks about how well, through that basically you understand that I feel like slavery and how religion was used in slavery to keep black people meek, mild, like honor thy master, honor those things. I think that's something that black people still deal with in their meekness, in their in the way that we deal with things, in the way we deal with conflict, especially with people of other races.
Yes.
It is a trauma that has been passed down. Like, do you understand why he told you to honor thy master so you wouldn't kill him in his sleep?
Exactly. Exactly.
After he took
And-
your wife away and your kids, like that's why he told you
Word.
honor thy master above all else. Like,
I
After he
find a
lynched your father in front of you.
I have a theory of finding a correlation between after the Haitian revolt and a slow uprisal of the Christian revival era. The
all right, shout out to Toussaint.
The Christian revival area in the early mid 1800s, late going towards 1900s. And I just find a very weird correlation that once Haiti figured out, oh, we can beat these people. Not that I'm preaching white hate, but at the time, of course, we wanted to kill our own masters, all right? And Haiti figured out a way, and they conquered. And it's a black-owned nation, finally, for the first time freed. And then all of a sudden, the increase, the dial-up of religion influence just went up. And I just feel like,
And
like you said,
and it's looking at Haiti now and the ramifications of that, like the ramifications of you thought y'all black asses could be a nation and a country ruled by yourselves. Okay, cool. We're gonna put all types of sanctions in place.
Yeah.
We're going
You'll
to
forever be in debt to us.
forever will be in debt, and for what? Like
Because y'all had the nerve to live
you
out
had
your
the nerve to
culture.
be
Y'all
black.
had the nerve to do you.
you
had the
the
nerve to do
nerve.
you and be proud of it.
let me
That's
tell
crazy.
you, when I started, listen, if we're going to talk about Haiti, I had to find out about my family. I asked questions. I went to DR, found out dope ass history. Like this nigga. This is my great grandfather.
Your
Great-
grandfather.
This is
Pulled out a black and white photo of her grandfather talking about
Yup.
this nigga.
I love him. And I talk to my ancestors now. But this dude right here is my great great grandfather. I'm sorry, great great, and then my great. And he is responsible for the reconstruction of DR after colonization of Spain. And just the back and forth of Spain owning the whole island, then France owning the whole island. And this dude is that motherfucker. So I started to find out more about the history. And I found out that we were some witches, nigga.
Bruja.
Brujeria. Like, we
Brujeria.
brujeria, thank you. Yo, my father would tell me about this story that's a folklore story that when they were in over there, our cotton was sugar. And so,
Yeah, sugarcane.
in the sugarcane field, and one homeboys was like, yo, I'm out. I don't want to do this work anymore. And they were like, what are you going to do? And he did a spell. This story has lasted a whole 100 years. He did a spell. He took his dick out, peed all over the sign that he made. He made a symbol, drawn it in the ground, peed all over it with his dick. My dad could tell you this story so beautifully.
I want to hear Poppy
He
tell
marked
it.
his territory.
He made a symbol with his
Wow.
pee, and he
Que perro, mi
disappeared.
amigo.
He disappeared right in front of them.
And
now,
where'd he go?
this is folklore, all right? But no, he did not want to work anymore. And he leaned into his spiritual practices from his slave roots, Yoruba, African roots, and he went and did that spell. My grandmother became a healer for the village. In Haina, she was a witch doctor. She would heal people with ginger and onion. My dad will swear to you he beat COVID 18 times because he drank ginger.
I mean, I agree.
He won't do vaccine. Yeah. And then
Yeah.
he will talk about being peed on by the village kids so that the worms can come out of his body.
They be peeing on each other?
There's a lot of pee involved. I don't want
So
people
he was
to
like
know
a
that-
community urinal or something.
So when so
Frankie,
my
I mean,
grandmother,
Alex's face. She's like,
my great grandmother, it's a hilarious story. It's hilarious.
And I'm not trying to disrespect you. I'm just there like,
No, real life.
Yeah.
Manny and I were laughing at my dad a couple
okay,
weeks
cool.
ago.
Because
him
you saying
telling
it
us
in all
this.
seriousness, and I was like, I gotta ask.
Oh yeah, we were laughing and he got serious. He was like, "This was our culture," and we realized he was fucking serious. When he was 5, he got worms, which is, normal in third world, and then he goes to his great grandmother, my great grandmother, his grandmother, and he's like, "I'm sick." She goes, "Get all your cousins, get all the kids in the village, everyone compete inside the wash tin while you sit in there." And then he said he was cured within 2 days. And not that I subscribe to that. I think time healed things. But
let me find out, Frankie, you got pee jars in the back.
it makes me think, because I did get sick with goat milk when I was living with grandma over there. And she did put me in a wash tin. But I have vague memories. I'm wondering if I got
She erased them.
Washed in pee.
She's
like,
erased the memories.
The Matrix. She said, "Proof."
Like she erased the memories.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, but I hate the term witch doctor because it has a negative connotation, But I feel like
Witch
Jesus did
has a
those
negative connotation.
witch in general, because I feel like I told somebody, I said, well, Jesus was a whole wizard, his damn self. He turned water into wine, and then people are
said a
like,
wizard.
that's different.
Right.
I'm like, well, if I was made in his
Now, my
image,
Lord.
because someone's like, well, that's different, and I was like, well, if I was made in his image, what is the difference?
Can I ask though? So for me, I pray to God as a black woman. Like my version of
Like-
God and what God looks like is a black woman. Like ideally,
Okay.
Debbie
I
Allen.
never knew that, Kyra. Wow.
Yeah, I pray to God as a black woman. Like sometimes when I'm praying, instead of Father God, I say Mother God. Thank you, Mother. Thank you, things. I pray to God as a woman because I feel like, for me, I mean that just if I am made in God's image, then who am I? You know what I'm saying?
Huh.
So let me look at what that image of God. Let me project what that image of God is for me, because I can't sit here and pray to a white man. Like
Yeah,
that
no.
just it doesn't sit.
That's where the Jesus Jerome Christ comes from, because he's black.
doesn't sit in my soul.
You know what? This
You
is
know-
a perfect. Oh, I'm sorry.
Why?
You said why what?
I have a quote, and it was a perfect thing to both what you two just said.
What?
Go ahead.
Okay. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Go.
It's from the book Magic in Islam by Michael Muhammad Knight. And what he tries to do is draw the correlation between magic and Islam. Very beautifully sourced. He has a quote. Marcus Garvey, reader of occult science images. No, sorry. Marcus Garvey, reader of occult science, imagines future black religions that can manifest a black God. And what he talks about is the coming of the black God. I think that's why they got Marcus Garvey on some tax bullshit.
Listen. Because if somebody was going to get the black people together, it was probably going to be Marcus.
Yeah, but sometimes I think, Jesus, of course, was a man. There's proof he existed. You can't deny that. But I feel like God, I feel like Jesus was God. Jesus is God in human form, but God is genderless. If that makes sense. That it's just,
Yeah, and faceless. For me.
I don't
never
feel like
imagined a
yeah.
face.
I married.
No, I still like to
imagine
sing with a
Jesus.
beard.
Wow.
I'll
said
show
you
y'all a
want-
I
picture.
Hold
imagine
on.
the voice being a masculine,
Yeah.
voice,
Like,
but I
real-
can't say I ever heard that voice.
I feel like I
Yeah.
have.
You know what I mean? I always heard my voice.
No, I hear a voice. It's just not mine, and I know
What
it's
if
not
it's
mine.
all our voices? What if, because God is in all of us and we're all connected to the same consciousness, what if it's all our voices and we're
That's
blossoming
also
like
true.
a
If
bunch of
God
flowers?
spoke to me and it
Different.
sounded like
Wow.
Frankie's,
Don't tell her that, Frankie.
I don't know how I would take that message. I'd be like, God, you playing right? God, snap out of it.
Listen,
No.
this is how I took that. I have a voice now that I could probably market for radio. So thank you. maybe I can make money off of this bitch.
Of course.
No, God talks to me. God talks to me in Debbie Allen's voice, which is why if I ever meet her in real life,
Why
I'll
Debbie?
probably fall out.
Wow.
I would probably fall out. Like,
She's so specific.
like no, it's literally God talks to me in Debbie Allen's voice because she's such
Okay.
like a mother and are such like an inspirational person. Like when she talks to people, sometimes that's how God, and then but also will get you correct. So God talks to me like that. Sometimes He cusses me out, and see, and it's that gender thing because again, it was like sometimes He, but sometimes they cuss me out, and it's just like. I Debbie, calm down. All right, leave me alone. I know,
So
God.
you call God
I know.
Debbie?
I do
I
sometimes.
could hear her like boom cat, boom pat cat. You shouldn't fuck that dick. Get good. Fuck that.
Or relax, relate, release.
Right.
I'm gonna show you-
release.
I'm gonna show y'all a picture. A picture
didn't
of my
clarify what-
cousin's husband.
Budgodlah means.
I'm gonna show y'all. We did
You're
at the
right.
beginning.
Yeah, so
I thought we did.
No.
No.
Yes, we
No.
did. It's like no. Well, it's okay. Let's just go back. So Budgodlah is like putting together Buddha, God, and Allah.
But Allah means God.
Okay.
That's
'Cause
also
that's
true.
why I hate when people like, oh, they believe in Allah, and I'm like, Allah
It's-
is
it's
God.
not- it's
fool.
not.
They believe in God.
Allah means God, just how like the Caribbeans they
But
say
we
Jah.
know-
Jah means God.
No, we
so make
know
it-
that.
But a lot
But
of
we know
people don't. That's why I want to
culturally,
say it.
Why? And we know that culturally it's associated with a different religion, right? Or a different philosophy or theology, whatever you want to call it.
And my friend said a
Having
good thing. We were talking about Lent. She's like, well, I'm not a Catholic, but I like the idea of Lent, you know? And so she's like, I feel like sometimes we just kind of, we can take from each that we like and subscribe and make it for us. Like, I like the idea of Ramadan. I thought about it one time of like, you know, fasting and praying and then like eating at night and all that other things. And, you know, just different things. Like we said, I think they all lead to him, her, they, she, it. No.
God's voice is Morgan Freeman for me.
Wow.
I feel like it's a lot of people. I don't think you're alone. I don't think you're alone. I think it's that for a lot of people.
I wish for me that it was Samuel L. Jackson because I love his attitude. Like I love
Motherfucker, get off that dick, bitch.
Y'all know I love to
you.
curse. Y'all know I love some cuss words. So hello.
I feel,
But Alex, what's up?
Yeah, I was just about to say, Alex.
See?
What you think, Mama? Where you at?
Man, religion's like, it's always been a touchy subject. Christianity for me, I don't like it. Sounds like that's an excuse to be racist and to push your ideas onto others.
Message.
I just feel like, oh, I'm a Christian, therefore I'm pro-life and
I'm better than you.
right. I never liked the message behind Christianity, especially now like what it's conformed to. Both myself and my therapist, we diagnosed my mother with bipolarism, even though she's never been clinically diagnosed. But my mom jumped around to a lot of religions. Like we was Baptist for a minute, and then we was Methodist, we was Lutheran, we was Christian, but we ended up being in Pentecostal. But my mom kind of used it as like, you know, remember like one of the commandments, like honor your mother and father. When like we got into argument and stuff, she'd be like, oh, God will punish you because how you spoke to me. God will punish you. I'm like, man, God's punished me.
I got some on that.
Yeah, like God's punishing me for a lot of, you know, just anything I did. I hear a voice like God punishes you. But now that I'm older, I have a relationship with God, but I won't say like Jesus Christ is my savior. Like now God is within me. I just don't say that. I just don't. Like I just believe, for me, I just keep it simple. There's God is within me. I don't go to church because even growing up, when every other year there's always like a scandal. I remember like our choir director was sleeping with the youth director. Like everybody married. Like the youth director married, choir director married. They were sleeping with each other. The year after that, I remember we lost the secondary pastor because he was a crackhead. I was like, so we coming to church still hidden. And I didn't like that because I'm like, who am I sitting next to? Like, who are we listening to?
It's the facade of it.
Yeah,
Right.
so
The facade of, like-
I don't like. I feel more, safe at school than a church. I'll tell you that. But
Wow.
it's just I keep it simple. Like I pray to God, I believe it. And now that my father's on the other side, because I lost my dad in 2021, I don't know where he ended up at because he was mildly racist, but he,
That's honest.
you know what I'm saying?
So
So
stupid, Alex. I swear. Sometimes I don't know when to laugh. I swear.
he could be
Like
on
he in the
Earth.
middle.
He could be on Earth. Oh, I don't know if he's at the gate. I don't know if he's in heaven or like at the gate. And I don't think he's down
In the
there.
line.
You know what I'm saying? But I feel like if God knows me, God knows my heart, and He understands He needs to deliver a message to me. Like it will be through a memory of my dad or my dad coming through my dream or something like that.
Yeah, I subscribe to that. That
Yeah.
God knows how to reach you. He knows how to get a message to you. I have. There's so many stories, but for one, very hyper religious, because I don't want to say hyper spiritual, maybe even hyper spiritual people in my family with influence that will be like, I'm trying to get a message to you. You need to listen, and I'm like, I
don't
don't
hear
think
it.
that God's gonna give you more information about me than He's gonna give to me about me. Number one, He knows how to speak to me, and He knows how I feel about you in this situation, so He would know if I would receive it or not. Let's be real.
And I feel like whenever somebody talks to me, I feel like it should be a clarification of something that God has said. Not
There you
come to
go.
me to-
I was just talking about that too. Yeah, it's like a confirmation. You're saying, right?
I
And if
also
the
want to say
person
what Alex
delivering,
said.
my bad.
Oh
go
no!
ahead. No.
So again, they use the Bible like honor your father, thy mother, but they forget that part of don't provoke your children. They forget that part, right? Don't provoke your children, and I just feel like I just hate the scare tactic that
that's
they
real.
use.
Yeah, it
in
was used. Yeah, it was
Christianity.
definitely used as.
And I'm like,
it's
that's not God.
Yeah, just
And I think
till,
that
like,
was
2
one of
years
the
ago.
things. That's what I came to, Krystle, too, when I read the whole Bible like a couple of years ago, and that's when I stopped going to church, when I read the whole Bible. Because I was like, y'all are literally taking a smidget
One
of
line.
this chapter, a smidget of this chapter, and creating this whole situation, and then coming out of nowhere with what you're saying. And I'm just like, but actually, if you read the whole chapter will give us some little bit more context of what that actually meant. And it will tell us that what you up here trying to say ain't what was being said here.
Yes.
Let me tell
Exactly. You still speaking from a filter though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's your perception from your filter, and we don't know what informs your filter. Is it trauma? Like we don't know what's informing your filter for you to be up and
Like what you're
I
saying,
know that there are
Mika.
some people out there with good intentions and who really are listening to God. I know that there are some of them that are out there for real. I respect that and I honor that. I'm not shitting on that. You know what I'm saying? But
Or
there are too many
Christians.
times where people are or Christians. I'm definitely not shitting on Christians. I have so much respect, especially for the black church. I have so much respect for it. But what was happening was I saw a trend like constantly. Because I did what your mom did, Alex, in a sense, where it was like, okay, it's like you were like church hopping. You know what I'm saying? You club hop. I would church hop. And I would go from one denomination to another. But I was still Christian. But I was going from one denomination to another. You know what I'm saying? I tried to go to a Baptist church. I went to interdenominational. Ultimately, I landed in interdenominational, and from there I was like, you know what, I could be anywhere and still be connected. I could not be connected with the people who claim they so connected and still be connected.
But here's the thing with the book too.
May
You
I-
finish
may I
me?
say-
I'm sorry.
Well, I want to I just wanted to finish
ahead.
a point real quick. I'm sorry. So the trend that I saw was that in the Hispanic church, what I saw a lot was a theme or a topic of preaching a message about we're gonna be saved. Like this is gonna end. Like whatever the struggle is, this is gonna end. It's always about the struggle, and there's always this gift in the struggle, this silver lining. It's called also Marianismo, which I will explain that another time, not now. But then there in the black church, it was always a message about prosperity. Always, because we needed that. We needed recognition. We needed to be recognized. We needed to be uplifted, and we needed prosperity. And then in the white church, it was always about peace. That's it. It was about peace. They wasn't preaching about prosperity because they had it. You know what I'm saying? They weren't preaching about power because they had it. They were preaching about peace and helping the poor and
It's kinda
helping
like-
the needy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Hispanic experience, Iglesia experience, I feel like, especially Pentecostal.
There you go.
It's great material. But you have the Royal Ranger leader that's gay and gets kicked out because
What
they
about that
accuse him of
Sunday
molesting
Harlem
boys.
Shaker?
My mom, and every Thea that I
Oh my
had.
God, the Sunday Harlem
The
Shaker.
Sunday
I'm
Harlem
done.
Shaker, and then God bless him, rest in peace, Tony, rest in peace. But you would be loving this right now. Tony is a childhood friend of my mother's, grew up gay, became Royal Ranger leader. They accused him of being molesting the boys, but it wasn't that. It's because he had dirt on every single male leader in that church because he had sex with them or sucked their dick.
I was about to say.
And I feel like I should say this because they did him dirty. They ran him out of town. What they didn't know is that the father that they thought abandoned him left him a legacy, a plantation, millions of dollars in Puerto Rico, and he lived
Wow,
his
a
best
plátano
life.
plantation?
A plátano plantation. I visited him, stayed with
Listen.
him a couple weeks, and he told me all the dirt,
All the plantains.
and all why they ran him to the ground and accused him and shamed him and said that he shouldn't be a Royal Ranger leader because he abused boys. But Beto, it wasn't that. It's because he knew that all those husbands, they were sucking his dick.
They was gay.
They was gay. He was fucking them. And then it's just that was a microcosm of what was going on in that church. And I my whole family was brought up in there, and it was ingrained in us. And then you see, like you said, Alex, I don't know who I'm sitting next to. And when Tony told me that when in my adult age, I was like, you know what? I'm going to share your story one day. And I feel like I should have said that because he passed away. He lived his life fully, cocaine and everything, but he lived it loud. He lived it loud, and he was
And
very
people don't like
loving.
that.
And rest in peace, because fuck y'all niggas that fucked him over and shamed his name and called him a pedophile. So,
I want. You done, Frankie?
yeah, I am done.
I want to go with like what Mika said when she was church hopping, and that the white church said this and the black church said that. Something I realized with teaching language and teaching reading is that how you read the Bible, and Khira could take something from that, Frankie, me, Mika, Alex, and it can mean different things based on our experience. So like I might read this and think of it a different way. This is what it means to me. This is what it means to me. And so sometimes with a book, it's hard to be like, this is exactly what it means, because it's up to interpretation and experiences. And that's the same for like any other book. So I just wanted to say that too, because who knows who's right and wrong. Yeah, you have a book, but we can interpret it different ways. And so I'm done with that.
Right. And I think that is a good way to kind of wrap up, I guess, this episode. And our Budgodlah.
Or
Our cult-
a bitch
our
in the
cult.
Matrix. We'll
Our
decide.
bitch in the Matrix. Oh. And I just want to say, I feel like a running theme here is we don't think that people authentically show up as themselves when it comes to religion. And I think that for the people listening, as you were in this religion, because I know I got some super churchy friends that listen to this. When you are looking and you are in church or you are doing your things, how can you show up authentically as yourself? Because I feel like that's what people want. They want authenticity. When it comes to dealing with people, and sometimes the church allows you to put on this persona. Don't do that. Any type of church, honestly, any type of religion has a persona that goes with it. So we just ask that you don't do that. You show up as yourself, and I feel like people will. What's the word I'm looking for? People will latch on to that, and love you for that, whatever that is. So yeah. I would just
I wanted to. I'm sorry, Khira.
No.
You mentioned that book, and like I think it's really important since it's such a great resource, and I have it in front of me. I just wanted to mention that the author of the book is Resmaa Menakem, and that's Menakem, and the title of the book is My Grandmother's Hands. If anybody wants to check that out. And one more thing, please allow me to say this, because you reference A Wrinkle in Time, and there's a quote that I love from that movie that fucked me up on the plane one time when I heard it, when I was watching the movie for the first time. And the child asked Oprah's character, why do I have to be in pain? Is there any way I can return as somebody else that I might like? She was in so much pain. She hated her life. And Oprah's character responded, do you realize how many events and choices that had to occur since the birth of the universe leading to the making of you, just exactly the way you are? Listen, I got chills saying that. Mika at Bronxtress, BRONXTRESS.
Khira at Khira Haley, KHIRAHAILEY.
Alex Barrios. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook. It's ALEX, B as in boy, ERRIOS, comedy for Instagram, and Alex Barrios for Facebook.
And this is Krystle. We're telling you to love others as Jesus loved you. At KYTO6 at Instagram.
And
Where can
you
they
can
find
find me at Frankie Does Comedy and at a Matrix Con near you.
Your page changes weekly, bruh.
Yeah. And we're
Where?
Kink'D AF.
Wow. Why'd y'all drag it out?
Like,
Mine was quick.
I loved it. All right.